All right, so you sent over a bunch of stuff about this Pharmic.eu. This it looks like a B2B medical marketplace
Right, yeah.
operating in the EU. So we got like website snippets and blog posts and even like a whole presentation.
Yeah.
Kind of a lot to go through.
It is.
So think of this deep dive as your kind of like shortcut
Okay.
to figure out what Pharmic is really all about.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of unpack like their mission and how they work and why it matters to, someone like you.
Yeah, well, I think that, one of the things that I find so interesting is how they're disrupting the medical supply chain,
Right.
which can be really complex.
Yeah.
And I think it's fascinating how they're trying to simplify things by acting as this central hub that connects hospitals and pharmacies and even beauty salons.
Wait, hold on, beauty salons. I saw that too.
Yeah.
It seems like they're not just sticking to traditional medical supplies. There's things like hyaluronic acid injections and even beauty gadgets. Are they trying to like blur the lines?
Yeah, I think it's a great observation.
Okay.
And it really speaks to their ambition to be like this truly comprehensive platform.
Yeah.
Like, remember that list of like 116 product categories? Like, that's not just for show.
Yeah.
They're actively trying to cater to like a really wide range of needs.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're open to adding more categories on request shows that they're really adaptable.
Yeah. Okay. So another thing I noticed is they really emphasize this idea of transparency. I mean, they talk about like transparent pricing and order tracking everywhere.
Yeah.
Is that just, marketing jargon or?
No, it's definitely more than just talk.
Right.
Transparency builds trust.
Right.
Which is, especially important in the medical field.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So you want to know you're getting what you paid for. And the sellers need that assurance that the products reach the right destination safely and on time.
Okay. So their origin story is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Launched just a couple of years ago in 2022.
And
they're already, making a global impact.
Yeah.
It's like that classic
Yeah.
startup that's rapidly becoming a major player.
Exactly. And they've attracted some big names, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like Bellevue and Free Medical Supply, even Hilding Anders Eska Republica.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And their PDF presentation really emphasizes their commitment to efficiency and collaboration and access to quality medical products.
Okay, so they've got the vision.
Yeah.
They're, snagging big clients. But why should, you care about Pharmic.eu.
Right.
Like, let's say you need to respec your clinic.
Okay.
Imagine skipping those endless calls to different vendors.
Yeah.
You just hop on Pharmic.eu,
Right.
compare prices from multiple suppliers, and boom.
Order places. It's a massive time saver.
Yeah.
Probably a money saver, too, with all that price comparison at your fingertips.
Yeah. Okay, so let's flip the script now.
Yeah.
You're a medical supplier. You're trying to reach a wider audience.
Right.
Pharmic.eu is basically like handing you a digital storefront with access to this huge European market.
Yeah.
And get this, they handle your promotion too. So everything from social media to articles in online magazines like pharmicnews.com.
Exactly.
Wait, are they really doing all that promotion for free?
Well, there is a bit of a catch, but it's a good one.
Okay.
For the first year, sellers pay absolutely nothing.
What?
No listing fees.
Wow.
No transaction fees.
Okay.
They even go the extra mile.
Okay.
And they'll negotiate promotion fees on your behalf.
Really?
It's like a year-long free trial.
Wow. That's unheard of.
It's a brilliant way to get sellers on board.
I can see why they would do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're playing the long game, trying to attract a critical mass of buyers and sellers.
Exactly.
But it's not just about facilitating transactions.
It's not just transactions.
Right.
It's about empowering both sides.
Okay.
So sellers get dashboards to track sales, tools to manage their products, even the ability to create special offers.
Okay.
And they've got 24/7 support.
Okay, so they're pulling out all the stops to make this platform attractive. But here's something that I thought was interesting.
Okay.
They explicitly state that after the first year, transaction and promotion fees will be negotiated.
Right.
So that raises a big question. What will those fees look like down the line?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And it's something we don't have a clear answer to yet.
Right.
will the fees remain competitive? Will they introduce tiered services with different pricing structures?
Yeah.
That's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
All right. So it's like they're kind of dangling this amazing offer, but then there's this like cloud of uncertainty hanging over.
It's a gamble.
Yeah.
For sure.
The long-term costs.
Yeah. They're hoping that, once the sellers kind of experience the benefits of platform, for a year they'll be willing to pay to, continue.
Right.
But you're right, it could create some hesitation.
Yeah, especially for
businesses.
Businesses that are
really budget conscious.
Very budget conscious. Yeah. Okay, so what about the impact on the overall medical supply chain?
Right. Yeah.
Like if Pharmic.eu really takes off, could this shake things up for everyone, not just the people?
Absolutely.
Platform.
Imagine a scenario.
Okay, where Pharmic.eu becomes like the go-to marketplace in the EU.
Right.
Suddenly there's this massive platform driving price transparency and competition among suppliers.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Right. So for buyers, potentially lower costs. Wider selection of products.
So that's a win for
it's a win.
Healthcare providers.
Yeah, especially smaller clinics.
Right.
That might not have the same bargaining power.
Right. Yeah.
As like the larger institutions.
Okay, so it kind of levels the playing field.
Exactly. And it gives the smaller suppliers a chance to compete on a larger scale.
Yeah, and the whole like procurement process
becomes more streamlined, more efficient.
Maybe even automated?
Potentially even automated.
Yeah.
And that frees up time and resources for healthcare providers to focus on what matter.
Right. So it's not just about saving money.
It's about like improving.
It's about the whole
ecosystem.
Yeah, the whole ecosystem
of healthcare delivery.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned earlier that this model could be applied to other industries.
Right.
I mean, we've seen platforms disrupt, like retail and transportation, even hospitality. Could a Pharmic.eu like platform revolutionize something like
that's a great example.
The restaurant supply chain?
Yeah.
Like imagine
local farmers connecting directly with restaurants.
Yeah.
It's easy to see how that model could promote sustainable sourcing and cut out intermediaries, potentially benefiting both producers and restaurants.
Okay. Yeah. Or imagine a platform for like independent fashion designers, giving them a global reach.
It's about leveraging technology to create these more efficient, transparent, and accessible marketplaces.
And Pharmic.eu is like a great example of this happening in real time.
Okay, so what stood out to you from all this material?
You know what really struck me was their emphasis on refurbished devices.
Oh, I saw that too.
Yeah.
It seems like they're positioning this not just as a cost-saving measure, but like
it's like a core part of their identity.
Yeah.
I think they're tapping into this growing awareness of sustainability and the circular economy, even within the medical field.
The medical field.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because refurbished devices can offer significant cost savings for buyers.
Right.
Especially those who might not have the budget for brand new equipment.
And it's a win for the environment.
Yeah.
Okay, so this ties back to their mission of
accessibility.
Accessibility.
It's not just about making things easier to buy.
Right.
It's about making quality healthcare more affordable and attainable.
So they're not just building a platform.
I think that's a key insight. They're not just building a platform. They're trying to create a movement.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so we talked...
And that's what makes them so compelling.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked a lot about like the potential upsides.
Right.
But I'm curious, like, what are some of the potential challenges or even risks for Pharmic.eu?
That's a great question.
They're clearly disrupting the status quo.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can...
And that brings us back to that uncertainty surrounding the fees.
Yeah.
You know, once those freebies expire, they're going to need to strike a delicate balance.
Right.
The fees need to be attractive enough to keep sellers on board,
right,
but also allow Pharmic.eu to generate revenue and sustain its operations.
So it's like walking a tightrope.
Exactly. If they price themselves too high, they risk alienating sellers and losing that critical mass that they work so hard to build.
Right. But if they go too low... They might struggle to make the business viable.
To make it viable.
Yeah.
And that's not their only challenge.
Right.
They're operating in a highly regulated industry.
Right.
So navigating those legal and compliance hurdles will be crucial.
Right.
And let's not forget about competition.
Competition, yeah.
There are other players in the B2B medical marketplace space.
Okay.
Both within the EU.
Right.
And globally.
So they need to stay ahead of the curve.
Right.
Constantly innovating.
Constantly innovating.
Yeah.
Finding ways to differentiate themselves.
It sounds like Pharmic.eu is facing innovators' dilemma.
How to maintain that disruptive edge.
Yeah.
But also build a sustainable and profitable business.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Right.
They've clearly struck a chord with their initial approach.
Yeah.
But the real test will be their ability to adapt, evolve, and continue delivering value as the market landscape changes.
It's going to be fascinating to see how they navigate these challenges.
Mm.
It almost feels like...
It's like a case study?
They're like a case study.
Yeah.
In disruption.
In disruption, in action.
Yeah,
in action.
In action.
And their success or failure
right.
could have significant implications for the future of online marketplaces.
Not just
in the medical field.
In the medical field, yeah.
But potentially across many industries.
Yeah, like they've thrown this giant pebble into the pond.
Right.
I'm just waiting to see how far the ripples spread. It's like they've thrown this giant pebble into the pond.
Right.
And we're just waiting to see
how
far those ripples spread.
Question.
Yeah.
And it's one that doesn't have a simple answer.
Yeah.
Disruption, by its very nature,
Yeah.
is about shaking things up, challenging the status quo.
Right.
It can create winners and losers.
Okay.
But I think it's important to remember that disruption often leads to progress.
So it's not necessarily about...
It forces everyone to reevaluate their strategies to find ways to deliver more value.
Okay, so it's not necessarily about destroying the old.
Exactly.
It's about pushing everyone.
It's about pushing everyone to become better.
Yeah, to become better.
In the case of Pharmic.eu, they're highlighting some real pain points in the medical supply chain. Like the inefficiencies, some lack of transparency. Limited reach for smaller suppliers.
Okay, so by addressing those issues.
They're forcing the entire industry to take notice and adapt.
And let's not forget about...
the potential benefits for buyers.
Right,
lower costs.
More choices.
A streamlined purchasing process. Those are all... tangible improvements. That could have a real impact on healthcare providers and ultimately on patients.
Okay, so if Pharmic.eu can navigate all these challenges we've been talking about.
If they can successfully navigate the challenges we've discussed, they have the potential to become a true force.
A true force for
positive change.
Yeah, for positive change.
In the industry.
It
is.
It is pretty amazing to think that a company that was founded just a couple of years ago could have such a ripple effect.
It speaks to the power of innovation and the speed at which things can change. In today's world. You know, we tend to think of industries like healthcare as being slow
to adapt.
But here's a clear example of how technology can disrupt even the most established
sectors. What's the biggest takeaway you think someone should have from all this information?
I think the key takeaway is that Pharmic.eu is more than just another online marketplace. They're a company with a vision, a mission to make quality healthcare more accessible and affordable. And they're doing it in a way that's both innovative and practical. They're not just talking about change.
They're
actually driving it.
They're actively driving the change.
And they're definitely a company to watch.
Yeah.
Their journey will be a fascinating one to follow. Not just for those of us in the healthcare world, but for anyone interested in the power of disruption.
And the future.
And the future of online marketplaces. I think you've summed it up perfectly.
Pharmic.eu is a story of...
Pharmic.eu is a story of ambition,
Ambition, yeah.
innovation, and a willingness to challenge the status quo.
The status quo, and it's a story.
And it's a story that's still being written.
It's still being written. All right, well, there you have it, your personalized deep dive to the world of Pharmic.eu.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From their origins and mission to their unique approach and the potential challenges they face.
The potential challenges they face. And hopefully we've given you some food for thought.
Hopefully we've given you some insights to help you understand this company and its place within the larger healthcare landscape.
Yeah, remember, knowledge is most powerful when we use it to spark our curiosity.
Exactly.
To ask new questions.
Set new questions.
And to explore new possibilities. So as you continue to follow the Pharmic.eu story.
Yeah, as you continue to follow the Pharmic.eu story, keep those questions in mind.
Keep those questions in mind.
Like what other industries?
What other industries,
could benefit from this type of disruption?
Right.
What are the ethical implications?
The ethical implications,
of these new models.
Of these new models. And ultimately,
what will the future of healthcare look like in a world where technology
is playing an increasingly central role.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those thought-provoking questions.